We have this technology called LiDAR that can scan the forest and see through the trees.
Wow.
And that's how we find now a lot of these places. It's just incredible.
Deep in the jungles of Mexico, scientists uncovered ancient bones that changed everything we thought we knew about the Maya. But what's even more fascinating is what the DNA tests revealed. Was the Maya's true identity nothing like history claimed? Could this mean bad news for us? Join us as we uncover the secrets behind this mind-blowing discovery. The Forbidden Code of Chichen Itza. In 2024, a group of scientists examined ancient human remains unearthed in the ruins of Chichen Itza, a grand Maya city that once thrived between the 5th and 9th centuries AD. To trace their lineage, researchers compared the DNA with blood samples from 68 residents of Tixcacaltuyub, a small town in Mexico. The results showed a close link between the ancient and modern people. The Tixcacaltuyub samples revealed around 92% indigenous ancestry, 7% European, and just under 1% African. After the discovery, 3 skeletons were taken to the National Archaeogenetics Laboratory for deeper study. Remarkably, the bones were almost perfectly preserved, an extraordinary feat in tropical regions where heat and humidity usually destroy organic matter. This allowed for full DNA sequencing, aiming to uncover their family origins, migration paths, and how they fit into the broader story of Mesoamerican populations. At first, the tests showed the individuals belonged to the A2 haplogroup, common among indigenous peoples of the Americas. But then, something unexpected appeared. Portions of the DNA did not match any known human or ancient record. Scientists suspected contamination, but when every sample showed the same strange code, it became clear that something unique had been found. These odd patterns appeared in junk DNA, the parts of genetic material that do not code for traits. Yet the arrangement wasn't random. When the researchers converted the sequence into numbers, it formed ratios identical to the Fibonacci sequence, a mathematical pattern rarely found in natural mutations. The precision seemed deliberate, almost as if it had been designed. Disturbed and fascinated, the team brought in geneticists, cryptographers, and data experts. Another laboratory at the University of Camp repeated the process and made another astonishing observation. Under ultraviolet light, the mysterious DNA emitted a faint glow, like the light seen in deep-sea creatures. Nothing similar had ever been detected in human genetics. The sequence was named X473. Global databases showed no matches, not to any living or extinct species. Algorithmic tests revealed that X473 had both organic and synthetic features, suggesting that parts of it might have been engineered. Even stranger, the geometric patterns within the sequence resembled spiral carvings on the walls of the burial chamber where the remains were found. To confirm the results, independent labs in Zurich and Kyoto performed blind analyses. Both reached the same conclusion. Within the genome were chemical pairings that did not exist in known human biology. Some molecules were completely unidentifiable. When translated into data charts, the sequences produced harmonic frequencies identical to electromagnetic signals recorded inside the ancient chamber, hinting that the DNA and environment might share a mathematical rhythm. Soon after, government officials intervened. The scientists were ordered to sign secrecy agreements, and all genetic data vanished from public access. Officials claimed it was done to protect cultural heritage, but rumors quickly spread in the scientific community. Some experts believed the remains represented an unknown human lineage, while others argued that the engineered patterns proved they were something else entirely. A leaked internal document suggested a more daring theory that X473 might be a coded message hidden within biological material. When translated into binary using molecular frequencies, the data revealed repeating numbers related to astronomical ratios, specifically the orbital alignment of Venus and Earth. Such precision seemed impossible to arise naturally. Chemical tests on the bones brought even more surprises. The calcium showed exposure to high oxygen levels not present in that region for over 10,000 years. Materials from the site dated to roughly 12,400 years ago, far older than any known Maya structure. By the end of the research phase, the team categorized their findings into 4 parts: unusual anatomy, genetic irregularities, conflicting dates, and strange environmental correlations. Combined, these findings challenged every known explanation. If the DNA truly contained structured information, it implied that whoever created or preserved it possessed advanced understanding of genetics and astronomy, knowledge far beyond what ancient civilizations were believed to have. Theories spread fast. Some thought it pointed to a forgotten civilization with scientific mastery. Others whispered about an ancient culture that might have blended biology and cosmic knowledge long before recorded history. None of these ideas were proven, yet the mystery only deepened. Months later, when the official report was released, every mention of sequence X473 was removed. The findings were described as a simple Maya ritual burial, but leaked notes told another story, one suggesting that fragments of that same strange DNA still exist, quietly living on in less than 1% of people in the Yucatan highlands today. But where was this discovery made, and what else did they find there? The hidden chamber beneath the pyramid. The discovery began as a routine survey in the dense Payton Basin of northern Guatemala, one of the most mysterious parts of the ancient Maya world. A team restoring a collapsed temple noticed strange radar readings under a lesser-known pyramid near El Mirador. The scans revealed something extraordinary, a perfect circular void buried about 12 meters below the foundation. As excavation began, workers uncovered a layer of stone unlike any known Mayan masonry. The blocks were incredibly smooth, fitted with flawless precision, and bonded by an adhesive stronger than any ancient cement. At first, experts thought it was a natural hollow sealed by minerals, but the structure's symmetry was too perfect to be natural. Soon they found the outline of a sealed doorway made of a single limestone slab covered in faint carvings of unknown symbols and celestial shapes. The designs did not match Mayan writing or art. Some looked older than Olmec imagery, while others appeared entirely foreign. Days of careful clearing exposed the full panel. The stone emitted weak magnetic readings, suggesting metallic content inside it. When the slab was finally opened, a rush of compressed air burst out, and the team stepped into a circular underground chamber around 7 meters wide. The walls glistened with a black, glassy material that resembled obsidian, but absorbed light instead of reflecting it. The air was cool and unnaturally quiet, almost as if sound itself had been swallowed by the room. At the center sat 3 skeletons, cross-legged on stone pedestals, arranged with perfect symmetry. Surrounding them were jade ornaments, polished metal discs, fragments of crystal, and faint traces of textile fibers that should not have survived in such a humid climate. Despite its immense age, the chamber appeared untouched by decay. The skeletons looked unlike any known ancient remains. Their skulls were elongated beyond what Mayan head binding could produce, and the bone structure suggested they were genetically different, not just altered by cultural practices. The skulls were larger, the eye sockets wider, and the bone density stronger than expected for humans of that era. One small metallic artifact, barely the size of a coin, bore microscopic hexagonal patterns resembling a circuit board. Later tests revealed the metal was an advanced composite alloy, far beyond anything produced with pre-Columbian technology. Then came the biggest shock. Carbon dating of organic material from the chamber indicated an age of roughly 12,400 years, thousands of years older than the known rise of the Maya. Independent labs confirmed the same result, leaving little room for error. Further testing of the air and soil inside the chamber revealed traces of a rare mineral compound that seemed to prevent decay by stopping microbial growth. This mineral did not exist anywhere nearby. The closest known source was hundreds of kilometers away. Attention turned to the black coating on the walls. Analysis showed it was made of vitrified silica fused at extremely high temperatures, far beyond what ancient kilns or natural heat could generate underground. The glassy layer appeared to have been applied intentionally, possibly as a sealing material. The carvings outside the chamber added even more mystery. Enhanced digital scans revealed spiral star patterns that matched the Pleiades constellation exactly as it appeared in the sky about 12,000 years ago. That meant the builders understood stellar positions with remarkable precision long before Mayan astronomy existed. The find disrupted everything known about the region's history. It challenged the accepted timeline of human knowledge in the Americas. suggesting the existence of a civilization far more advanced than previously believed. After documentation, the site was sealed again for protection. Only a handful of photos and notes were released. The official report called it an unusual underground ritual chamber, but avoided discussing the age or strange materials. Privately, though, researchers expressed deep concern. Instruments malfunctioned near the site, compasses spun aimlessly, static-filled radios, and faint sparks jumped from metal tools touching the walls. No environmental cause could explain it. Within months, rumors spread that some artifacts had been quietly moved to a restricted facility for deeper study. Officials neither confirmed nor denied it. Those who had seen the chamber firsthand agreed on one thing: it looked nothing like any known Mayan tomb or ceremonial space. Its symmetry, preservation, and unexplained technology hinted at something entirely different, something that did not fit within the story of human history as we know it. Yet this discovery wasn't only about the past. It carried a secret message within it, the secret message of the Jade Tablet. After the strange DNA discovery, researchers turned their focus to the artifacts taken from the hidden chamber. Among them lay a broken rectangular jade tablet, split across one corner but still readable. Its surface was covered with dense carvings that did not resemble any known Mayan writing. The script seemed mixed, part pictorial, part hieroglyphic, as though it came from a forgotten stage between early symbols and the later Mayan script, thousands of years older than expected. Experts studying the stone quickly noticed something else unusual. The jade's composition did not match the kind found in that part of Guatemala. Instead, it came from deposits located in southern Honduras, meaning it had traveled a long distance, farther than any ancient Mayan trade route previously known. The workmanship was extraordinary. Each groove was carved with flawless precision, like it had been etched by a tool capable of cutting at microscopic depth. Translating the script proved difficult. The markings refused to align with any recognized Mayan codex, but certain symbols kept repeating: a circular figure surrounded by lines, an arch pointing downward, and human forms holding objects descending from the sky. These images echoed ancient stories passed down through Mayan myth, tales of divine teachers who came from the heavens to share knowledge of time, stars, and agriculture. One phrase appeared several times: Bakchan Kanam, roughly meaning those who came in light. It was often carved next to symbols of rain, stars, and the sun's rebirth. This expression matched oral legends recorded centuries later by ethnographers describing sky people, or star ancestors, said to have visited the early Maya. Astronomers assisting the team found something even more astonishing. When the carved star patterns were mapped using celestial coordinates, they did not match the sky we see today. But when adjusted for the Earth's axial shift, the layout aligned perfectly with the heavens as viewed from Central America about 12,000 years ago, the same era suggested by the chamber's carbon dating. At the tablet's center, a cluster of 7 stars was carved in a spiral pattern. This matched the Pleiades, long regarded in Mayan tradition as the birthplace of creation. Yet, one extra star appeared in the carving, placed where no visible object exists now. Modern data shows that this coordinate points to a dense region of interstellar dust in the Taurus constellation, home to faint sun-like stars roughly 1,500 light-years away. The tablet called this area Chinhal, or Sky River, and linked it to symbols for teaching, arrival, and blood, perhaps describing a celestial origin or migration myth told through the stars. When the star map's coordinates were compared with modern astronomy, they matched the M45 cluster, the Pleiades again. But what truly unsettled the researchers was a spiral path connecting that cluster to a symbol resembling the solar system, with the third planet clearly highlighted. This suggested that whoever made the tablet understood not just constellations but also the order of planets, a level of knowledge far beyond known ancient science. As scholars continued studying the piece, new connections emerged. The spiral motif appeared not only on the tablet but also in the DNA sequences and in the architectural carvings inside the chamber. It was as though the same pattern was repeating across biology, art, and the cosmos, a bridge between human life and the stars. Later, hyperspectral imaging exposed another hidden layer beneath the jade surface. Under infrared light, microscopic carvings became visible, fine linear marks resembling coded text. When digitally enhanced, they revealed numeric ratios that perfectly matched the electromagnetic frequencies detected inside the chamber. This discovery sparked intense debate. If the chamber, the DNA, and the tablet all carried the same harmonic codes tied to the same astronomical ratios, perhaps the structure was not a burial site at all. It could have been a vault of knowledge, a place where information was stored in both stone and genetic material, preserved across ages. Within the research group, this theory became known as the Sky People hypothesis. It proposed that the first Maya, or their ancestors, might have received knowledge from an external source, whether an advanced lost civilization or something beyond human understanding. Though officially dismissed as speculation, the perfect alignment between the tablet's data, the DNA sequences, and the chamber's electromagnetic readings remained a puzzle no one could fully explain. Now, let's take a look at what the Mayas believed in and how it affected their lifestyle. The sacred world of the Maya. The ancient Maya saw their world as a bridge between powerful spiritual realms filled with gods, spirits, and ancestors. They believed every event, from planting crops to choosing a king, was tied to forces beyond the mortal world. To keep harmony, the Maya offered gifts, prayers, and sacrifices to please the gods who shaped their destiny. In early times, shamans acted as messengers between people and the spirit world. They used rituals and hallucinogenic plants like water lilies to enter trances and communicate with divine forces. As time passed, rulers began to claim this sacred power for themselves. Kings were no longer just political leaders. They became living gods, chosen to speak with the heavens. The Maya saw the universe as layered and ordered. The heavens had 13 levels above, and the underworld had 9 levels below, with human life balanced in between. Each direction, north, east, south, and west, had its color and ruling spirit. The entire cosmos was alive with purpose and design. The dead were never truly gone. Families buried their ancestors beneath their homes, believing their spirits would protect the living. Each household had a shrine to honor these souls, especially revered male ancestors. Over generations, these shrines evolved into massive temple pyramids, where royal tombs rested. Kings and queens became eternal guardians of their people. Religion touched every part of Maya life. Cooking, trade, war, and even daily decisions were guided by sacred beliefs. The priesthood, made up of noble families, guarded powerful knowledge, astronomy, calendars, and sacred texts written in complex hieroglyphs. They led grand ceremonies with music, dance, feasts, and blood offerings. Rulers themselves often performed rituals, cutting their flesh to feed the gods with their blood. Blood was the most precious offering. The Maya saw it as life's sacred essence. Sacrificing an animal, or even a human, was the highest form of devotion. Captured warriors, especially enemy kings, were considered the most valuable sacrifices. Some ceremonies involved beheadings, echoing ancient myths, where gods of death defeated the maize god or the heroic twins from the Popol Vuh. Later, under new influences, the Maya adopted heart sacrifice, a dramatic act borrowed from neighboring peoples. Victims' hearts were offered to the gods at temple tops. In some cases, priests wore the flayed skin of the sacrificed, symbolizing life reborn. The Maya pantheon was vast and ever-changing. Each god could have multiple forms, day and night, life and death, or different colors tied to the 4 directions. The gods' importance shifted with the movement of the sun, moon, and stars. Priests studied the heavens to know which deities needed offerings and when. At the center of creation stood Itzamna, the great creator and embodiment of the universe. He ruled as both sun and night jaguar, crossing the underworld each evening. His daytime aspect, Kinich Ahau, was the bright sun god, often linked with Maya kings. The storm god Cha'ak brought thunder and rain, while the maize god represented life and renewal. The moon goddess and the hero twins also held deep meaning in myths that explained creation and sacrifice. One of the most treasured Maya texts, the Popol Vuh, written after the Spanish conquest, preserved their stories. It tells of how the world began, how the hero twins triumphed over darkness, and how their victories gave birth to life and maize. It also speaks of gods like Tohil, the Quiche patron deity, alongside the moon goddess Awilix and the mountain god Jakowitz. By the later centuries, new gods appeared, blending Maya traditions with foreign influences. Among them was the feathered serpent, known as Kukulkan in Yucatan, and Cucumatz among the Quiche. This serpent deity symbolized wisdom, rebirth, and the power of wind and sky. Though its worship had ancient roots, it grew stronger through contact with other cultures, especially the Aztecs' Quetzalcoatl cult. The hidden ring beneath the jungle. As the investigation deepened, attention shifted from ancient DNA to the earth itself. Hidden under the thick jungles of northern Guatemala, where the Maya once thrived, scientists detected something extraordinary. Using remote sensors, they found a perfect circular formation buried beneath layers of soil, ash, and limestone. At first, it looked like a natural hollow, but deeper scans revealed sharp, deliberate lines, something built, not born of nature. The buried ring stretched nearly 300 feet wide, forming a flawless circle. Around it, the soil contained melted volcanic glass fused with metallic traces, as though it had been scorched by unimaginable heat. Yet no volcano had ever existed in that region. When samples were tested, they showed metals like titanium, vanadium, and iridium, elements rarely found together in nature and impossible to produce without advanced technology. The fused material had endured temperatures above 3,000 degrees Celsius, far beyond anything known in ancient Mesoamerica. Then came the magnetic readings. The ring emitted faint electromagnetic pulses every 11 minutes, steady, rhythmic, and repeating. Even more baffling, the pulse frequency matched a mathematical ratio found earlier in the mysterious X473 genetic sequence. The numbers aligned too perfectly to be a coincidence. Mapping data revealed something else. The ring's central axis pointed exactly to the rising of Venus during the spring equinox, a sacred moment in Maya astronomy. Temples and monuments across their world often followed this celestial pattern, but unlike those, this structure was hidden, buried under centuries of silence. It felt less like an accident and more like an intentional concealment. Fragments from the ring added new intrigue. When studied under electron microscopes, they revealed micro-etched designs, tiny spirals repeating endlessly, their shapes forming precise fractal patterns identical to those carved into the jade tablet found earlier. Each spiral followed the golden ratio, the same mathematical code traced within the mysterious X473 genome. Nature, mathematics, and design seemed to merge into one breathtaking pattern, but the deeper the team tried to explore, the stranger things became. Heavy drilling machines malfunctioned near the core, power systems failed without reason, tools shut down as if struck by an invisible force. No lab test could reproduce the same interference, as though whatever powered the ring existed only there, in that soil, under those stars. Radiometric dating placed the formation at around 12,400 years old, the same age as the chamber where the first genetic samples had been found. This link suggested the two sites might have once been part of the same ancient complex, built long before any known Maya city. It defied every accepted timeline of human civilization. Experts debated its purpose. Some believed it was a kind of astronomical device, tracking the planets with impossible precision. Others thought it might have stored or transferred energy. A few quietly speculated that it was meant for communication, possibly with something biological that shared the X473 code. None of these theories could be proven, but all agreed the structure was far beyond anything expected from that era. Nighttime monitoring revealed the most haunting detail. The ring released faint flashes of radiation, syncing perfectly with shifts in the upper atmosphere. The same rhythmic intervals appeared again, those same patterns found in the genetic data and temple carvings. It was as if the ancient ring still listened and responded to signals from both sky and earth, a mechanism not dead, but merely waiting. By the end of the survey, researchers were left in awe. Officially, the find was documented as a vitrified circular structure of unknown origin. Unofficially, the team whispered of something far greater, an artifact from a forgotten chapter of human history, still alive beneath the jungle floor, pulsing softly in the dark. The blood that remembers. When researchers combined the genetic and inscription data, they began comparing the ancient DNA with modern samples. The aim was simple: find out if any living people carried traces of the same mysterious code. What they discovered changed everything. Hidden deep within old medical archives were DNA samples from remote highland communities in the Yucatan Peninsula. To everyone's shock, the ancient genetic sequence labeled X473 appeared faintly within them. These villagers had long puzzled scientists for another reason. Decades earlier, studies had shown they possessed an unusual resistance to disease. Now it seemed their immunity was connected to this same rare sequence, one that matched perfectly with the genetic material taken from the buried remains. A new expedition set out to confirm it. The team trekked into the highlands, where small groups lived apart from cities, preserving ancient customs that had survived for centuries. Fresh tests confirmed that a few among them still carried X473. The sequence caused no illness but subtly influenced their biology. In lab studies, cells with X473 repaired damage faster and showed heightened neural activity tied to memory and perception. Physically, they appeared normal, unaware of anything unusual within them. Anthropologists noticed something else: tradition. Elders in these villages spoke of guarding the old blood and warned that marrying outsiders would bring imbalance. The belief sounded like an echo of ancient ideas about sacred lineage. When shown carvings of Mayan symbols, several elders pointed to the spiral mark, calling it the breath of the sky. That same phrase had appeared on the jade tablet found in the underground chamber. It hinted that their stories were not mere legend, but memories passed across ages. Expanding the search, scientists began scanning global DNA archives. To their astonishment, small fragments resembling parts of X473 appeared in distant populations, among Pacific Islanders, Andean tribes, even Arctic communities. The traces were tiny yet statistically clear, suggesting that the genetic anomaly was far older and more widespread than anyone imagined. The mystery deepened when genetic models failed to place X473 on any evolutionary path. It did not fit known mutation patterns or ancestral branches. Instead, it looked as though the sequence had been introduced across scattered populations in distant eras. The data hinted at a transfer of information not through writing or myth, but through the blood itself. Meanwhile, field teams in Yucatan uncovered carvings on cave walls showing people beneath spirals identical to those on the chamber walls. Some figures held round shapes that looked like celestial symbols or ritual tools. Pigment samples from these caves contained the same trace elements as those found on the vitrified coating of the buried chamber, linking them through both material and time. As the implications grew, official reports softened their tone. Terms like engineered and non-terrestrial were replaced with cautious phrases such as genetic anomaly and archaeogenetic variation. Mentions of living carriers were quietly removed. One final clue came from language itself. In both ancient inscriptions and modern dialects, the word kenam meant light or radiance. Locals used it to describe both a power from the heavens and a living spark within their blood. The overlap between myth and biology was impossible to ignore. By the end, scientists agreed on three things. The X473 sequence still exists in a few human lines. Its structure mirrors mathematical patterns found in ancient Mayan astronomy, and the link between them cannot be dismissed as chance. Officially, the findings ended with cautious neutrality. Privately, among the team's notes, one quiet line carried the truth everyone sensed. The bloodline never ended. It still walked among us. However, there was one truth that few were aware of: the code beneath the jungle. In the last phase of the study, scientists turned their attention to the mysterious link between the genetic code known as X473 and the strange vitrified rings hidden deep beneath the Mayan jungle. Evidence from biology, geology, and physics began to align toward one stunning idea. Both the DNA and the ancient structures were pieces of the same engineered system. Genetic testing revealed that X473 carried molecular structures not seen in ordinary human DNA. Its protein layers could withstand intense heat and radiation, showing patterns that looked designed rather than random. When the sequence was exposed to electromagnetic frequencies identical to those pulsing from the buried rings, something remarkable happened. The DNA stabilized, then began to vibrate in rhythmic pulses. It was as if the genetic code and the material underground were communicating through invisible waves. Different laboratories repeated the test and confirmed the same results, even though no one could explain the mechanism behind it. The more they studied, the clearer it became that both the biological and architectural components shared a single blueprint. Geometric analysis revealed one number appearing again and again, 1.618, the golden ratio. It was carved into the ring patterns, embedded in the spiral of the DNA, and mirrored in the precise alignment of Mayan temples. The recurrence of this ratio across so many separate elements seemed too exact to be coincidence. This discovery changed everything. The Maya were no longer seen as the originators of the mystery, but as its protectors. Their ceremonies, symbols, and monuments might have been ways to preserve a system far older than their culture, a system coded both in their blood and their surroundings. Dating methods showed that the DNA sequence and the ancient rings came from the same time, roughly 12,400 years ago, long before known civilizations. The results hinted at a single global event that shaped both biology and Earth itself. Officially, the discovery was dismissed as an anomaly, and the sites were sealed off. Yet private documents described X-473 as artificially modified material older than humanity. The final report ended quietly but powerfully. The human genome may hold a fragment of an ancient design, something built to survive when everything else was lost. If you enjoyed this video, like and subscribe, and also click the next video shown on your screen.